Sony announced some pretty cool stuff today. Let's talk about it, especially the stuff from Marvel. Hey, what's up, nerd fam? This is your boy Gashawn. I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. Today, we're going to talk about some of Sony's announcement and their showcase. Specifically, some of the stuff that I really want to pay attention to was some of the Marvel stuff. You know, what did I think about it? And did it show some things that are promising? Now, obviously, a lot of the stuff was just like teaser stuff. So we don't really see much of anything. But I'm going to try and predict where it could go and what they should add to really maximize the most out of these games. So let's get into it. First, I gotta start off with my boy Spider-Man, with Spider-Man 2. So obviously, we see Venom get revealed at the end of it. You know, we're gonna have Miles and Peter in here to try and have some differential gameplay. And I heard a voice that kind of sounded like Kraven. So if we're getting that, that'd be awesome, because Kraven challenged Peter in a way emotionally that a lot of them did not. And I'm wondering, like, if we have Venom, is it going to lead up to Carnage? There's tons of things that we're going to need to see here. So I'm hoping that they use this thing. Now, there's one thing I really like about the video games in terms of Spider-Man, is they have treated Peter, or just Spider-Man, as a character much better than they have in the films. They've definitely given him much more time. And obviously, because it's more time to grow, more time for you to interact. So I'm saying they should definitely give us a ton. Now, I'm saying, I think maybe, if they were ever going to explore the whole Spider-Verse thing, I'm thinking in the games would be the time. And obviously, we never know. They could be doing some stuff. There could be some inheritors. Moreland could pop up. But I'm thinking they should take a page out of the book of Shattered Dimensions, so you could really have some differential gameplay here. Like, maybe you can have Silk popping up. Maybe they can go into different realities. See Spider-Man 2099, where he can be like flying around, shooting beams and stuff. All these cool things, and that would be awesome to have. And maybe they're saving that for Spider-Man 3. You never know. But I'm thinking, if that's something you want to rush to, you can do that much better in the games, because you have so much more time to be able to flesh that out. So I'm wondering if they're gonna do that here. And obviously, you know, there's gonna be the obligatory DLC. So as long as they keep this game jam-packed and give us tons of hours, I have no problem buying extra stuff, which is what the first Spider-Man with Peter Parker did very well. And I bought all the DLC because the core game was super solid, versus the Miles one, which kind of felt like you're buying DLC and a kind of rehash of some of those villains. So I'm hoping they can flesh him out here, maybe give him something of his own, instead of almost having two of the same type of character in the game. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's really what I think about the Spider-Man 2 stuff. Next, we've got Marvel's Wolverine, right? Now, they didn't really show anything. They just showed really him in the bar after probably beating up a whole bunch of people and someone trying to come up and stab him, right? Now, the biggest thing here, I think, in this game is going to be, obviously, the fight mechanics. And I think it should go from him being super brutal, having like a berserker rage, him doing a whole bunch of really cool stuff with his claws, and then tons of unarmed combat, showing how good he is with strategy. Maybe even having him shoot, even using katanas, because the thing about Wolverine that's not really explored too much outside of comics is the fact that he is a master martial artist in general, and he is actually really good of a strategist. So you should be able to show those things here. Also, there should be a lot of storylines that have to do specifically with Wolverine. Now, there should be some X-Men that pop up in this, because obviously you can't have Wolverine without showing some of the other X-Men. But maybe we should see some Alpha Flight pop up here. Obviously, his son Daken can show up here. Maybe even have like flashbacks to other things that happened to him, like when he was like a horseman of I think it was War or Death for Apocalypse, showing him maybe when he's on X-Force doing some of those like stealth missions, like things that are, more Wolverine was like front and center in the comics. Use a lot of those things, have X-23 pop up, they do some missions together. There are a lot of really cool things they can do, like a really cool Wolverine storylines, like maybe even have you play through like the whole Origins storyline, where you see like Dog Logan hunted him down, and like really like get a comic book accurate Wolverine portrayal, but in the game. They could really do this. And this is Insomniac, I believe. So why not? I think this is a huge opportunity to be able to get something like this. And, getting like villains like Cyber and Deathstrike, and showing him in Weapon X, and having like Sabretooth, obvious. Like maybe even show him fighting, like have a storyline with Romulus. And this could also be DLC stuff as well. There's so much stuff with Wolverine. why not? And you can include other characters. Maybe even have him go to Kunlun and doing stuff with Iron Fist. Like, there's so many things. You can still just be playing Wolverine, but have him interact with other people. Why not? He's had so many great adventures. That's really where I think their opportunity is. He's always front and center in these movies, and they put him, they really overexpose him in the comics. So use this game to be able to expose people to the different sides of him in the really cool stories. That's just me though. The next one, I initially was really excited when I saw it, and it was Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Just because I've always liked the cosmic side of Marvel in terms of the comics. The aesthetic is different. The characters are pretty unique. I really like that. And obviously, a lot of those are at least relatable for some people, and I get it. And obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy as a movie always made me go like, because they kind of bastardized it. And I saw the jokes and stuff, so I see they are leaning heavily on the MCU portrayal. But how they kind of look, except for like Star-Lord, because they're still mirroring the Chris Pratt stuff. A lot like Gamora and Drax, they all look more closer to what they do in the comics. But here is my number one issue. After doing a little bit of research, it's like, all right, you can't even really play as the other characters. Like, you're playing as Star-Lord, but then you're like influencing the other ones around you through like motivational like quotes and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, we should be able to play because each of these characters has specific lore to them. And just because they could act and sound like the MCU stuff, they could, make them look like that so general audiences could recognize them, but then could lean more into the comic book stuff, which I see they are kind of doing when I saw like the World Mind and everything. So they are leaning into like some comic book stuff. But the fact that I can't really play as these characters and I can only like kind of like I can add up to their abilities and we can do like team up attacks, stuff like that. It makes me wonder how much these characters are actually going to get fleshed out in the game, which is what will give you some of the replay value and makes you want to be a completist if you have to have all these individual missions and make one game seem like 5 different games if you do it very, very well. All right. Now, one thing that I really liked about this game that I saw was the damn Nova Corps look better here than they do in the movies. And it's not like the suit they put here couldn't have been done in the movies. It's just that it was so lazy. It just made them look like a SWAT team in the movies. And they actually look great here. They look great. Why didn't they just do that? And I'm looking forward to that. And maybe that'll be more developed. And that's nothing why I saw like they're still leaning in to some of the comic stuff. They're leaning, but then once again, the MCU, they're still using that as a base for the general audience so people can kind of recognize it. So I understand for marketing that part, but I think we kind of lose. And I understand because this is like the same studio that made the Marvel Avengers game, which also wasn't that good. I mean, I know that was like Crystal Dynamics and like a subsidiary of Square Enix, but this is Square Enix, so you got to think that a lot of the same minds behind that game are behind this one. And that worries me a little bit, right? Honestly, it does. I'll add, obviously, these are all teasers, so we never know what direction they're going to go in, which, I want to see before I give a final verdict, but it is what it is. Now, as far as some stuff that's not actually Marvel related, like Forspoken, really got me excited because I love, one thing about Sony I've always admired is the fact that in their back catalog, they've had so many games that are not really, like they're so original. And it's funny how if they really wanted to, they can kill everybody with all the stuff that they've had from the past. And they remastered all the stuff they had from like 20 years ago. No one is doing anything about it because they were very, very innovative. And Forspoken is really, really cool. Like the lead, she, I guess she's gonna be more like the funny type. But then eventually, in the trailer, it's like she turns into like more of a serious magic user because now she's the hero of the story. And then when she meets the person who's supposed to be killing, like she gets her ass whipped right at the end of it, which is, I've always liked that when the hero is not able to just run all over the main villain when it's a true challenge. And I love like her going from roof to roof, but like in creative ways and how she's able to use magic. Like visually, it looks very, very good. Obviously, God of War is coming up, and it interests me because I just want to see how the story ends. Right? I just want to see how the story ends. But yeah, that's really what. And I want to see how they're gonna incorporate Tyr and the rest of Norse mythology and how this Ragnarok thing is still going to go. Like, is something that's going to go to another bit of mythology? I mean, we'll see. Obviously, Gran Turismo 7. Gran Turismo is always going to be solid if you love like driving simulators, which I do. So, it is what it is. And then there's also Ghostwire. And Ghostwire is also one of those things that looks pretty unique. I just have to see a little bit more from it. I want to see what kind of unique mechanics that Ghostwire provides to make that gaming experience something that I've never seen before. And I feel like that's what that's gonna be about. Like just the story mixed with the mechanics. So I'm holding to wait for that one. Besides that, Project Eve also looks excellent. But I mean, she's wearing a skin tight suit, so be careful of those people who are like, oh my gosh, how does her body fit into that? How can she move like that? I'm ready for those to come up and be like, how can they have her scantily clad and then doing this? No. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying. But it looks good. They got her deflecting energy beams. The real time actions they have with the bosses look awesome, and even the monsters look a little unique as well, which I like. So I can't wait to see more of that. It looks like it's gonna be a fun game. Yeah, and that's honestly the stuff that I really enjoyed. I might have missed something, but that's what I really enjoyed. And obviously, I focus primarily on the Marvel stuff because that's really where my purview is when it comes to the announcements. Let me know, what was your favorite thing? What did you really like? What didn't you like? What ideas do you think they should be implementing? Let me know. Into the Nerd.